maman, la la woy. Oh, maman, la la woy. Oulala, maman, la la woy. Oh, maman, la la woy. Allez en pays cap gaspillé. Allons soleil chaud cap gaspillé. Allez belle tête tonne cap gaspillé là. Cap gaspillé.
Hello, everybody.
Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Defoulew with yours truly, Mahadya Mary. And today we have a very, very special invited guest. We have with us today retired Lieutenant Edwin Raymond, who is an author, a published author, and the star of Crime and Punishment, to which the documentary he is one of the main characters in this documentary. And I'll let him introduce you all.
How you doing? My name is Edwin Raymond. I'm an activist, author, retired lieutenant. I did 15 years with the NYPD. I left 2 years ago in order to become a national activist and, pursue my career as an author.
Okay, so we have you here. Moi, Lieutenant Raymond là avec nous aujourd'hui parce que moi ouais que li c'est un monde qui sacrifié carrière li pour nous-mêmes. Et pas pour nous-mêmes haïtiens seulement, pour nous-mêmes peuple noir, Puerto Rican, Latin, Spanish, parce que like NYPD, là nous regarder film là et nous livre ça. Film là a venu en créole. Li la travail pour li mettre dehors en créole. Mais moi voulais nous al garder li. Moi voulais nous garder li. It's on Hulu and it is on YouTube. Crime and Punishment, the documentary. And là nous gagnons un livre là qui dit Praise for an Inconvenient Cop. And ça lieutenant Raymond te fait, c'est que là New York là pendant des police, te gagne un bagay qui est les quotas. Quotas veut dire que dans chaque mois, les mois finis, il y a un nombre de monde pour yo critiquer, pour yo arrêter, pour yo capable faire the quota. And quota c'est numéro, c'est goal là. Pas vrai? And des fois, les yo gen bagay sa yo pour yo faire, c'est la communauté pas nous que yo vin faire yo. La communauté soi-disant low income, pauvre, and most times communauté sa yo c'est communauté pas non communauté noire, communauté panyol. Et c'est là li wè m'a quitté li expliquer nous connait ça li te wè et qui je li te trouvé ça.
Okay.
Officer Raymond?
English or Creole?
You could do it however you want. I just gave a little. This is Defoulew, so you know our audience is kind of mixed. We're a Haitian American crowd, so however you feel comfortable.
I'll start in Creole. So, l'em te entre dans l'académie, moi t'ai essayé chercher tout mauvais acte policier fait nous, m't'a essayé ouais côté ça yo sorti qui j'ai entraîné nous. L'em dans l'académie m'pa ka joindre. Mais l'em fin gradué, c'est là ça yo ba nous quota. Chaque mois, faut nous marier 4 moun, faut nous écrire 10 contraventions, faut nous fouiller en 10 moun. So 4, 10 avec 10. Chaque mois, chaque policier, c'est numéro ça pour nous gagner. Si nous pas gagner, n'a pas de problème avec ces gens va avoir des problèmes avec lieutenant va avoir des problèmes avec capitaine là.
À chef là.
Oui, et c'est comme ça.
Et puis chef là a des problèmes avec commissionnaire.
Exactement. So,
qui veut dire magistrat tout.
Of course, the mayor is part of the problem. So, les montrer, m'bat d'accord. Yo fait me souffrir, mais j'aime wel nan, plutôt souffrir pour peuple là, que pour ta fait faire peuple en mauvais bail. Vous comprenez? So I prefer to suffer for the people instead of doing something unethical to the people. And let fait ça, yo pas krasem. Les malaka me crier, même pas quitter au ça.
Et sans dessaline non.
You know, les malaka ça fait mal, m'baka dormir, ménagement, des problèmes ménagement tout ba ça yo. Tout le monde qui connaît me dit pourquoi ça passer tête dans misère ça. On est fait ça pour faire. Sous un problème avec ton là arrivé en grade. l'arrivée chef, ouais, ça au café, mais pendant notre petit grade policier, on a fait ça au moment donné, là, levé, maman, mourir depuis 3 ans, depuis 6 ans, papa m'a travaillé, nous levons malheureux dans la misère. Je dis, pour tout souffrir, ou venir arriver en l'âge, ou en grand police, la fin, ou al jouer en bas, comme ça, pas fait ça. Mais chaque le mal travail,
Ou pas sentir ou bien.
bat ka faire. So, m'oblige souffrir pour peuple là.
Là où dit ou souffrir, ban nou exemple, like, sa yo fel, comme si.
M'entre dans la police, là, j'ai 22 ans.
And
Yeah.
moi que lan classe academy que ou te rentré à qui te ou parmi des 6,000 moun ou te numéro 8. So ça veut dire que that's amazing to be number 8 out of 6,000.
Yeah.
So
Sergeant's exam.
pour
Yeah.
qu'a prendre grade pour qu'a venir au sergent.
Oui.
So qui a bu que yo fait d'est-ce que yo t'a parlé pour peuple là?
Donc, if I need a day off, yo ba baoul. Même si son mardi, dans janvier, et pas de fête, pas de rien qui a passé, yo ba baoul. Si je demande pour me travailler le matin, il a fait me travail après-midi. Si n'importe semblé, yo pas bon man.
You just feel uncomfortable.
Exactly. Tout ça, l'autre monde fait sans problème, l'aime fait, il y a un problème. Quand il l'aime vient passer examen,
Qui l'a venu passer examen? Parce que vous rentrez.
yeah, monté en 2008, monté dans la
2008.
police, je fais examen en 2013, mais c'est en 2015, je supposé, et là, ça a commencé ma promotion, il n'y a pas bon man pour 9 mois. Je me dit pour 9 mois, pour me rester jeune gars. Mais il n'y a pas de bon man même, mais là, ça me commence à faire un peu de bruit.
Oui, obligé. Santé salina, loi monté.
Yeah, and it's crazy because l'autre policier haïtien NYPD, des salines,
Parce que c'est ça lié.
ça même. So yeah, for 9 months, they did not promote me. It was tough because I worked hard.
Et il a fait passer misère.
Exactly. And the reason why they promote me is c'est parce que me commence à faire un peu de bruit. A New York Times article, New York Times magazine front cover article in February of 2016.
Yeah, moi ça.
You know, that's what really, it brought a lot of attention to this fight, and it embarrassed them. So this is part of the reason why they had to promote me. And something very unique happened. Activistes, lot militant yo, qui pa vle wè police, yo te campé.
Dans.
Yeah, yo campé avec chef yo pas
remettre ça.
Yeah, yo pas comme ça pour yo faire ça parce que moun sa yo et goume contre police, yo pas jamais yo travailler ensemble en policier, but parce que pour peuple m'ta prédit yo bon support.
Parce que des fois c'est ça lié, right? Parce que c'est pas que moun pa vle travail avec police, right? Nous voulons travailler avec police, mais c'est à qui police n'a travail parce que ou pas qu'à dire que ou c'est gang à uniforme, les fini ou voulez pour nous d'accord avec habit que va faire communauté, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's what needs to be éducation ça tout pour nous comprendre et pour nous essayer pour nous lire, pour nous capable éduquer tête nous parce que la police in New York State leur fait histoire de qui gens la police fait venir. C'est longtemps esclave, yo te gen ça qui relait like the overseer. The overseer c'était moun qui te contrôlé plantation pour yo garder esclave yo, pour si esclave yo, fait yo marcher travail ou pas marcher bat esclave yo. Et les esclaves yo essayer sauver, c'est overseer yo voye al chercher esclave yo, mene yo tourner bat yo, fait yo tout ça lié. So an evolution, an over evolution of time, Kunya, the overseer leo gade the logo of the police department as well. Wapwe gen yon Indien, avec gen yon Puritan, sa ki le Dutch, moun ki te la anvan yo, ki lan on the logo. And si vous vraiment regardez des ça, ça a montré que ça c'est même bagay là, c'était que the overseer qui a cherché esclave là. So là on kon histoire and wap vraiment regarder and wap vraiment ouais over evolution, ça la police teye, is basically the police have become the modern day overseer, right? And then with that being said, like, leo mete kounye pou ap fe quota. And m'pral ban nou un numéro que mwen vle nou al gade pendant m'a fe ti Defoulew nou jodi, nap Defoulew nou jodi, ou e crime and punishment sa, si nou men, peuple là nous pas à regarder movie ça parce que ça moi m'a Defoulew là parce que les gens bagay les gens zin les gens parlent en pile les gens tout bagay YouTube moun monte 1 million dans une semaine ça pour gen a documentary un bagay qui it's a true story y a montré au sacrifice que lieutenant Raymond fait et par lui-même seulement te gen yo 12 ça veut dire comme si it's like the apostles qui marchait avec disciples qui marchait à Jésus te gen yo 12 et moi-même moi connais les bon Dieu à travail il toujours fait bagaille en 12 il toujours ou après li dans Bible ou après li la moun qui fait sacrifier pour yo aider un peuple ou toujours ouais ça te gen yo 12 qui camper pour yo dire non ça yo pas d'accord avec abi ça que faut yo rester avec lui m'pral mettre au numéro d'ailleurs pour nous comprendre qui état lieutenant Raymond tap travail in 2007 through 2015 ça veut dire en 8 ans te gen presque 900 000 plus de 900 000 parce que c'était plus que 900 000 summonses avec arrestation qui était faite with no probable cause. Ça veut dire que yo pas même gen raison, yo ni pas même forme tête ou yo just running pro yo maro, yo mette un bagay sou, yo fait passer fait fingerprint, fait tout bagay, le fini fait en prison. Koun ya le si fam yo gen ti ko pour prendre avocat pour ou ka sorti, mais si yo pas gen tout, faut passer tout temps. You have to go through the system. Faut faire système là avant sorti, le fini koun ya le al gade yo dit que oh nous fait erreur. Mais, et puis, yo just on like yo. Te gen plus que 900 000 cas comme ça. So, ma de ou même, Officer Raymond, like, in a situation like that where you have over 900,000 summonses and arrests that were made with no probable cause, and then they were dismissed, how does that equate into dollars? Like, Leo fait ça parce que gen kop kap dépenser, gen kop pas de yet. Parce que le ap gade, nous connaissons moi-même, moi toujours dit nous, c'est toujours kop là, toujours gen kop de bagay yo. So, expliquez-nous.
Yeah, when you see a number like that, not over 900,000 over 8 years, that's billions of dollars because each ticket.
C'est billion avec ou B.
Oui.
Yo pas dit million non peuple là.
Yeah. So
billion yo dit non, oui.
Yeah. So each ticket, if it's depending on what it is, it could be anywhere from $50 to $500, depending on what the ticket is, what the summons is. So with no probable cause, all these summonses get dismissed and the reason is because, again, when the officers have to meet a quota, they're not waiting for probable cause.
Right.
Because
they just want to give that number to their supervisor.
Especially les mois avant fini. They're going to do tout ça même les mois avant fini la caille.
No, exactly. Ouais. And that's the thing. But moi change la époque ça tout. I had a machine ticket machine ça joint.
Yeah.
Ou met paquet yo di ou pas paquet bien. Kounya si ou même ou just pay kobla. And that's the thing too, right? So Leo fait the summons kounya on nous dit yo prend no probable cause. Mais même like my mother m'pay l'état m'pas besoin nom là un rien. M'aller m'payer ticket. Kounya they dismiss it. Kounya me connaît l'état parce que nous connaît travail pour l'état. They quick to take the money pour yo remettre kobla kounya, ils prend un paquet temps. Like, est-ce que moun sa yo kon jwenn kobla, retourner kobla?
So the 900,000, there was a lawsuit called Stinton versus the city of New York. In that class action lawsuit, they had to pay out a lot of money. So what you did was, if you received a ticket between those years, you contacted the law firm, and then they sent you them. Yeah. I know someone that got about 7 tickets, and they gave her $150 for each ticket.
Entendez?
Yeah.
M'jwenn plus ticket que pour le bagay.
Yeah.
Il thought that?
I don't know.
Il thought that?
I don't know.
I'm going to pep on checker. I'm checker. Right? So, OK, so n'a prend un petit pause là, puis nous allons retourner tout à l'heure.
That's the commercial break?
Mm-hmm.
What's the commercial? The old school? Because I love the old school Haitian.
This is my thing. Yeah. I just...
What's going on, party people in a place to be? This is Pascal Antoine here. And for those who know me well, you know that I've always been like a media person. Ever since I was 12 years old, I begged my parents for a camera. When they finally got it for me, I just fell in love. And ever since then, I've been just a media guy. I want to introduce you to Do Door Vibe. I've been lucky enough to have been given the position as the station director. Do Door Vibe is it's an online radio station where not only do we play very interesting music and we have interesting programs, but we're also a full-fledged media company. So if you need anything done, we'll be able to do it for you. We have a dedicated staff that they know what they're doing. And even myself, I've been doing this for a very long time. So for any of your media needs, I invite you to check out Do Door Vibe. If you're looking for media production, advertising and promotion, digital design, event and mobile services, just contact Do Door Vibe. We're here for you for all of your media services needs.
Need a daycare that fits your schedule?
Oh, you mean 911 daycare?
Yes, I never have to beg relatives for babysitting anymore. 911 Daycare is open 24/7.
That's right. At 911 Daycare, you control your own hours. Day shift, night shift, no problem.
And the location couldn't be more convenient. Right in East Flatbush in the heart of Lelo, Haiti.
Plus, 911 Daycare accepts all vouchers. Have a government voucher? You get 911 Daycare.
What? All vouchers? Qui sa qui vaut cher?
Voucher, c'est le gouvernement paye pour petit ou al nan daycare. De pour qualifier, y a payé pour. My kids love it there. You accepte ti moun de 0 jusqu'à 12 ans d'âge.
Yep. Kids from 0 to 12 years old. For a daycare that's always there for you, call 718-513-0411 or text 516-717-9446. 911 Daycare, your 24/7 childcare solution.
911 Daycare is always there when you need them. Registration is going on now. Qui écoute, prends des vents. Pas di nou pas di ou. 911 daycare la pou ka al travay à n'importe le ou joindre travail.
Rele rapide pour ka sécuriser place ou. Call 718-513-0411 or text 516-717-9446. 911 Daycare, your 24/7 child care solution.
And we're she chantait ça. Do you guys love my theme song? I love that song. I'm going to nous tendre more, because c'est ça qui le calme pour pays. But anyway, n'a retourner avec Defoulew, nous gain avec nous again pour ça who's joining us now. We have with us a very special invited guest, and it is retired Lieutenant Edwin Raymond. And he's here with us, and we're going to go back. He is the published author of Praise for an Inconvenient Cop, and he is the star of Crime and Punishment, the documentary. This documentary, I feel like everyone should watch it with their child, with their children, especially if you have a son, especially if you have a black son in this 2025 in America. I watched the documentary and it brought tears to my eyes. And the reason why it brought tears to my eyes is because for two reasons. I watched it and it was like the struggle that we as a black nation have to constantly, the fight that we're constantly fighting. Like we have to always keep fighting for something. And for Officer Raymond to sacrifice all that he sacrificed, because without him, there are staggering numbers. And then, you know, that he I'll let him quote the numbers for you shortly. But without his sacrifice, without him and the 12 that stood up and said, no, this is unjust, this is unfair, this is un-American, like we would still be going through this today. And I am the mother of an adult male. Well, of course he's male. He's my son, right? But he's a grown man right now. Like I have a 22-year-old son, and when you look at him, he looks about 25, 26. When I'm with him, people think he's my little brother. So I pray every night. I stay on my knees. I stay praying, and especially now. So let me tell you guys something. So for Juneteenth, he's in DC right now. He's doing an internship in DC. And I called him and I said, what do you have planned? I said, what do you have planned today? Because I know, you know, he's in a fraternity as well. And I said, one of the D9 ones. And I said, do you have plans? Like, what are you guys doing? And he's like, I don't know, Ma, we may go out later. And I said to him, I said, well, you know, all the MAGA people, they're going to be in DC for this parade that's happening. So if you go and try not to, you know, I was basically trying to tell him not to go out without telling him not to go out, because, you know what I'm saying? No, li pa pren la pression rêve là. That's the thing. We got caught in the pression rêve. Oh, m'fè rêve ou pas sorti, non? Non, m'pat ka passe pression rêve là sou li. So, m'oblige mandel, some pa mandel, like, pas sorti, non, shit. Papi pas sorti, okay? Because you know all the MAGA is going to be there, and you don't know what happened. They may, you know, try to you to something to do. You don't know what may happen, and I don't want you, you know, as a mother. Yeah. You know, so the sacrifice, again, I'm going back to the sacrifice, because this is what really, like I told you, there were two reasons why the movie really touched me and made me cry. It was because of the sacrifices that retired Raymond, the sacrifices that he made, along with the 12 officers that stood up for the injustices that were done in the writing of these quotas. And then it was just, for me, it was a young boy who was in the movie that he was arrested. They gave him these summonses, and then he just got, because of, after one time, two time, five times, eventually they're gonna hold you, and they ended up holding him for something that he did not do. And they held him, and he kept on insisting that I'm innocent. They tried to offer him pleas, but if you take a plea, that means that you did it. But he stood firm, and for that, like, he just basically, Lord knows what he went through inside of Rikers Island, but that just really touched me, and it just, being the mother of an adult son, that just touched me. They just really, like, there's something with me when I see young men and stuff. It pulls at my heart, and I'm always more compassionate and more empathetic to them because of my son. So I want you, Officer Raymond, long way in my office,
It's fine.
Edwin, I want you to go ahead, and I want you, what I want you to do for our audience today, I want you to explain quotas,
Yeah.
one, and then I want you, because I want them to understand what the numbers were like, what you were fighting against,
Yeah.
and what your work was able to do for those numbers. I
Yeah.
want you to go ahead and explain that.
So the quotas were primarily in Black and Hispanic communities. So my colleagues in the academy that went to white neighborhoods, when I would meet up with them or speak to them or check in, they didn't have quotas. And if they did, if they didn't meet the quota, it wasn't a big deal. But in the Black community, it was a big deal. The 70th precinct, Ocean Parkway, on one side is a Jewish community,
Yeah.
the other side is a Caribbean community. There was an officer who, when he walked to his post right by Bobby's or Church in East 16 or East 18th,
And 17.
yeah,
Right there.
he would write
Bobby.
he would write his summonses as he's walking to post. They told him to get all of his summonses east of Coney Island Avenue,
Right.
where it becomes Caribbean.
Right.
He continued to write summonses anywhere he saw them, and he was threatened. He said if he writes another summons west of Ocean Parkway, he's going to be sent to the Bronx. This is reserved for our community. It's not as if there's a quota and you can just go get your numbers. I had a commander. If you gave a summons or arrested anyone that was white, you have to come into the office and explain why you're going for soft targets, right? That's what he called white people, sometimes women, but it was reserved for Blacks and Hispanics. If you gave summonses or arrested someone else, you would have to answer for that. You understand?
And would they be primarily male, or like would it just
Primarily
be
male,
Black?
for sure.
Primarily
For
male.
sure, yeah.
And I saw in the movie they said that the target was 14 to 21-year-olds.
That's for stop and frisk. When it comes to summons and arrests, it's anybody.
Anybody.
Anybody in the Black.
So
and
anybody
Hispanic
could get
community.
it.
Anybody. So one of the things that you do is when they give you, one of the punishment assignments they give you is transporting prisoners. When you're a rookie, that's a rookie assignment. When you start to have seniority, you don't transport prisoners.
Correct.
But I still had to transport prisoners. I've transported people who are blind who walked through the exit gate and didn't pay their fare. I've transported people with one arm, one leg. I've transported 82-year-old grandfathers. Okay?
All Black and Hispanic.
All Black and Hispanic. That's all a result of having arrest quotas. So in
And could we say, Officer Raymond, that they would also have like the Black and Latin officers actually doing this, the majority of it? Because I know we have some white.
No, it's all
people,
cops.
but
It depends
it's
on
all
where you
cops,
work.
and
It depends
all
on
cops were given
it depends
that
on where
directive.
you're assigned to work.
Got it.
So if you work in Bay Ridge, whether you're a Black cop or a white cop, Hispanic cop, you're less likely going to have to focus on this.
On
But
the
if you
quota.
work in Flatbush, in Bed-Stuy, in Harlem, in Southside Jamaica, Queens,
South Bronx.
Mott Haven, if you work in these places, it doesn't matter the race of the cop. You have to meet those numbers. And if you don't, there's consequences. You understand? And I'll tell you, prior to the progress, prior to the activism, and that activism is not, it's myself with the other 11 officers, it's legislation, it's litigation, using suing, it's having the right elected officials to write the right bills. When you put the cocktail together, we start to get some progress. In 2011, we have nearly 700,000 stop and frisk, right? 500,000 summonses, and 413,000 arrests in 2011. By 2022, again, I give you the time frame. In 2013, we get a lawsuit, Floyd versus the city of New York. Because of that lawsuit, we go from nearly 700,000 stop and frisk to less than 50,000 1 year later, right? In 2014. And by 2022, we're at about 14,000. That same year in 2014, the DA of Brooklyn, Kenneth Thompson, decriminalized marijuana use. If you have personal amounts of marijuana, less than 25 grams, instead of being arrested, you're given a summons. Marijuana arrest is the number one arrest in the NYPD for 30 years.
Wow.
You know, so when you change how we enforce marijuana,
And look
you,
at
we're
today.
we're no longer needlessly arresting people. And today it's just completely legal,
Let's sit right.
right? So all those
People are
people
making money now.
exactly, all those people that went to jail over decades, lives destroyed, to something that's legal and gets traded now. It's insane.
And even that in itself right now is a conversation to be had.
Yeah, no, that is. You could do a whole show on that.
Yeah.
2016, we get the Criminal Justice Reform Act. What that does is the 5 summonses that NYPD writes the most, instead of them being criminal, they become civil. So now if you miss court, you no longer have a warrant. And then in 2017, we get raised the age. In New York State, the age of criminal responsibility, meaning the age that you're automatically charged as an adult, was 16.
Wow.
You know, but because of this new law that was passed in 2017 but was finalized in 2019, you now charged as an adult at 18. Think about it. At 16 in New York State, you can't legally consent to sex. You can't legally buy cigarettes. You can't legally buy alcohol. You can't open a line of credit. You can't get married without parental consent. You can't join the military without parental. You can't do any of these things because you're deemed a kid.
A minor.
But when you jump the turnstile, all of a sudden you're an adult. It was wrong. And again, putting all that together, we get much better numbers by 2022. I'll read some here. I have the chart here. So from in arrest, we go from nearly 413,000 to about 154,000. 500,000 summonses to about 96,000. Nearly 700,000 stop and frisk to 15,000. That is millions of young people
Right.
that never had that negative police encounter happen. Okay, we actually changed the system. Right now, anyone I would say age 27, 26 and younger, they have no idea what the NYPD used to be.
What
And
you,
that-
what you
yeah,
saved them from.
yeah, yeah.
The future, like the future, and I thank you, and that's the thing, and that's what I'm saying, right? What future, what outcome could have happened if you never stood up for this?
No, you're right. And you know, and I think as a Haitian community, one of the things I think about all the time is, and remember, this is not about personal praise, but this is about inspiring others to continue to work. Whether you're in Quebec, Okap, Brooklyn, or Miami, the one thing that connects all of us, whether we were poor Haitians, whether we come from the upper crust, the one thing that connects us is our pride in our revolution, right? And you have Haitian activists and revolutionaries who are doing amazing work, and yet we're not known, we're not given the support.
This is true.
It's frustrating sometimes because again, it's not about personal praise, but if people understand the work, they will do their own version of it. It's about inspiring others within our community, and also it's a reflection of what we're proudest of.
Right.
Okay, we are proudest of our revolution. Given the state of Haiti right now, it's a shame that we have to go so far back, but it's not just a revolution. It sparks an entire movement of freedom for the entire region and other parts of the world eventually. So we have every right to be proud of that. But when we have people contemporarily continuing that work, I think we should know who they are. You understand?
Absolutely. And that's why and my goal and what I would like to see done is that people know and understand the work that you have done, that you are currently doing, and you're looking to continue to do in the future.
Yeah.
And that's
I'm,
why
I'm gonna need the support.
And I'm you have our
Support.
support. You have Dogger vibes. This is all support. And
Support.
this is like community.
That's how I survived this. Because think about it. A poor Haitian kid from Newkirk Avenue, Brooklyn,
Right.
is not supposed to stand up to the NYPD
Exactly.
and
Qui doit.
That's unheard of.
Qui doit.
Woman way, so but the support is what allowed me to survive.
Right.
So the support has to continue if, for me to continue to do the work because this is great sacrifice to my personal life.
And
And
I want you to speak on that because that's the thing too, right? Because everybody always equates something to dollar signs. We're gonna come back. Remember that dollar signs, okay? Not pour l'argent.
Commercial? Okay.
Defoulew, c'est un talk show uniquement sous Dodo Vibe FM. Tout le monde a une histoire dans la vie cap tout mentil. Qui ça pour la même?
Vin Defoulew.
Personne pas juge. Petit ou rivé ambassade, ADN nan dit non, 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 petit pas beau.
Vin Defoulew.
Foyer wap pran kou, relasyon vin gran kou.
Vin Defoulew.
Ou santi, chaque jour qui passe, bagay yo vin pi difficile.
Vin Defoulew. Mari a trompé ou, madame a fait au show. Vin Defoulew.
Paste, kap jake fidel yo nan vey li.
Vin Defoulew.
Pas quitter rien tout fait ou vin dénoncer tout ça qui pas fait au plaisir dans relation. Dans amitay ou bien dans travail. Relez nous. Boy ici là, c'est défouler nous. Vin la gueule. Pas faire stroke, pas faire que.
J'aime stressé là, ben mal défoulé dans Dodo Vibe. Yo émission côté ou capable parler de tout ça dans tête ou, tout ça qui a dominé. Si mesdames yo a bon au clos, vin la gueule. Messieurs yo a bon dandy, vin la gueule. Sans yo pas juger ou, vin la gueule. Vin bay parole. Vin défoulé ou sous Dodo Vibe FM. Vin défoulé ou. La gueule. DODORVIBE.com ou soit Dodo Vibe FM sur YouTube et Facebook.
Ça quoi gen là?
Defoulew.
Hi, my name is Dolores Mura Etienne. I am the creator of Echoes of Freedom, Haiti's global legacy. This is not just a show or a podcast. This is a journey, a global journey, and to uncover the most unforgettable truth regarding Haiti's role and other people's independence, other countries' independence. Let's go.
In 1804, Haiti became the first black republic and the only nation born from a successful slave revolt. But Haiti's fight for freedom didn't end there. From sending ships and troops to aid Simon Bolivar's campaign in Latin America to casting the decisive UN vote that created Israel in 1947, Haiti has been a quiet force behind global independence. Even Polish soldiers who joined Haiti's revolution were honored as brothers in the fight for freedom. Echoes of Freedom is a powerful documentary podcast and video series uncovering Haiti's untold role in shaping the world's fight for sovereignty. The truth is global, and it started in Haiti.
Hey, and we're back. And when we left off about the money. It was about the money. So I want you, because a lot of times we always equate things to the dollar signs. Like, if it don't make money, it don't make sense, right? I want you, and this is like, and if it's a little too personal, like I will stop but I want to because I know what it is, but I want our audience to understand how much you gave up, equated to a dollar sign. because you had to retire before the age of retirement, which means that you lost. I know because like I want to retire and I don't have the age to retire. So I know you lost a lot of benefits because when they talk about NYPD or corrections and their retirement plan, it's like amazing. And I know you had to give up a lot. So I want you to equate that into dollar signs.
Yeah, that wasn't that was not an easy decision. You know, in the NYPD, you have to do at least 20 years
Right.
before you can retire. I did 15.
Right.
So that's 5 years of not paying into my pension to make it bigger.
Right.
Not to mention, you don't start
Maximum cap salary, top salary.
exactly where you can start receiving your payments. Also, you don't start to receive your pension until what would have been your 20th year.
Correct.
So between when I retired 2 years ago and 5 years later, 3 years from now, I have no money coming in from my pension.
Right.
So when you do that math and the amount that the pension is supposed to be over the course of my pension, if I make it to a particular age, that's millions of dollars.
Right.
That
And I also know like it's millions, but there's also this thing that every like police officer tells me about. It's like a bonus that you guys get.
Oh yeah,
like,
so when you
excuse me.
when you hit 20 years, you get an additional $12,500
Right, that
every
free money.
December.
Yeah.
You're on top of
That's
your
like
pension.
Christmas money.
So when you leave before 20 years, you never get
You don't
that.
get it.
So yeah, all I left all that on the table for my people, you know. So I need the support.
C'est ça m'a parlé, pas vrai? Parce que pour ou petit, soi-disant, nous c'est bon patriote, nous toujours aimons tout ça, nous n'a marché chercher Haïtien, nous voulons Usher to be Haitian so bad, nous voulons Future to be Haitian, so nous toujours chercher Haïtien pour nous dire c'est Haïtien nous est. Mais nous avons Haïtien pas nous là, nous avons Edwin Raymond là qui pas nous, qui fait un travail comme ça, nous avons supposé tout le monde qui gagne parce que le monde gagne a drop of Haitian blood, nous could dire que c'est Haïtien yo ye, or they got Haitian heritage. Mais nous gagne frère nous là, qui c'est Haïtien qui lié, natif natal Haïtien qui lié, faut nous supporter lui, ok? Parce que le travail que lui fait, chaque jour que la marche là, nous connaissons que ville en jeu, pas vrai? Parce que bagay la pas fini. There's a court case, right?
Yeah.
There's a current case parce que qu'est-ce que yo dit 12 membres policiers yo te fait. It's still continuing. It's been 10 years and they still haven't settled. And that's the thing with the city. Là, pense au pas fait case avec the city of New York. Yo ka fait tourner pour attendre pour faire case là. So this case is already more than 10 years old and they still haven't settled. They still haven't gone to court to do this. And that means that our brother Flynn, c'est charité basically la demandé. Okay? C'est juste pas marcher à couille à l'homme nouvelle, many là, nouvelle gens là, nous pensons que, but he needs us. He needs our support.
Yeah, and the other part.
Al acheter livre. Livre ça, it's incredible. La parler de tout ça qui sous lui, de ça qui passé, de travail activiste. Nous connaissons nous-mêmes haïtiens, nous aimons activistes, nous aimons faire manifestation. Mais on met au monde pour nous camper derrière, pour nous supporter, pour nous faire manifestation. Al acheter livre là. Même si, tant que moi dis nous, en commencement, moi dis nous que film là, Crime and Punishment, it's on Hulu, it's on YouTube, que al gade, ok? Al gade film là, parce que là nous, n'a tiré un bagay là-dedans quand même, ok? N'a tiré un bagay là-dedans quand même. Parce que un bagay que moi pas connais, que avant hier moi apprendre, que you spoke about, I think it was like the community policing when the tickets are written and you can go and say, don't write no tickets on this block. I forget what it's called.
Self-enforcement.
Self-enforcement. On veut parler de self-enforcement. Ça, self-enforcement.
Yeah.
Et qui j'en yo kon moun qui bénéficie là-dedans, qui j'en yo servi avec lui. Parce que c'est tout bagay ça yo que n'a pas apprendre dans this là. Il y a un pile bagay que n'a vivre là, dans ville New York là, n'a vivre comme si tout va bien. Nous lever, nous ka manger du riz, nous manger griot, tout bagay bien. It's not alright. Faut nous compte douane, côté nous rete. Moi, dis nous ça chaque jour. Je dis, this was about Edwin Raymond. M'a tourné la Defoulew l'autre semaine, côté n'a pas parlé. OK? M'a tourné à ça, but moi, vle li même, moi, vle nous al regarder, moi, vle nous li livre là. OK? Si nous gen ti moun même, nous obligés à regarder film là avec petit nous pour yo ka comprendre les nous dit que nous fait rêve ou j'en nous dit ou soit pas sorti jodi a. C'est fait moi lié. But ça va passer kounya mais le temps que n'a vivre kounya nous pas connaît ça qui va passer. OK? Go ahead. Go ahead. Edwin, explique what the again.
Yeah, so self-enforcement zone. Look, when you see around the precinct, you see the way that the cops are parked on the sidewalk.
Diagonal.
Yeah. We call it 90-degree parking.
90-degree parking.
And the reason why it's self-enforcement is because that means only the cops in that precinct can give summonses on that block. Traffic can't, another cop from another precinct can't. Self-enforcement, because they know which cars belong to the cops inside. They know which cars are evidence. Sometimes the cars there are evidence from a car accident or something else. And you're not supposed to give those cars tickets. Self-enforcement exists for a legitimate reason, but there are communities, residential communities, depending on the community, where they'll make a call to the commander, they'll complain about tickets, and out of nowhere, that block or those 3 blocks will become self-enforcement. And what happens is nobody writes tickets on those blocks, right? So there's some people that they get those privileges because of the relationship that they have with police commanders and elected officials. And there's no reason why our community, either everybody has to get the summonses or our community should be able to have those same privileges. But these are the things that, no va vraiment comprendre, but it's people on the inside that have to teach it. But it's very risky, okay? Understand, there's people that want me dead.
Yes.
Okay?
And ça m'a dit, chaque jour que la marche dans la rue, okay, c'est vite limité en jeu pour nous. Okay, and I was saying that too. I was asking myself that. So you're on my prayer list. I started praying for you, but and the reason why is I pray that God protects you and put a force field over you so that no evil can touch you. And it's because I am truly grateful for the work that you're doing that I'm benefiting from. Because as a Black woman, they could have stopped me anytime, that my son I know is benefiting from. So I pray for you. And that's the thing. It's like this type of work, there's people that want to see you dead. Yep. And this is the thing, and since I'm with Zeno, whenever you shake the norm, because right now, le temps que nous vivons là, le 2025, ça, everything dysfunctional has become normal. They've normalized the dysfunction. Ça veut dire que tout malpropre devient tout normal. Pas vrai? And excuse everybody parce que ça c'est défoulé, m'a défoulé la kounien parce que m'pas fait tout choix en bon petit monde pour nous. So m'a fait un petit défoulé kounien. Tout malpropre devient normal kounien. Ouais, moun a dit n'importe ça yo vle dans société et yo pense c'est démocratie, c'est failli. Yo pense c'est démocratie. I just say, no lie. So tout ma vote qu'on est devenu normal. Moun dit ça yo vle, yo dit que c'est démocratie qui est lié. Mais non, you understand? Everything dysfunctional has become normalized. We're living in a twilight zone right now. So travail que retired Lieutenant Edwin Raymond is doing, so travail que la continue faire là tout. Because like I told you, the case hasn't been settled. There's still litigation going on. Okay? And you're plus table well him disappear pour bagay sa ka fini, pour yo ka continue, parce que pas gen on loi. Pas gen loi de saline dans ni même ni. You understand? So pour nous même nous protéger li. Moi connais nous dit nous c'est patriote, mes frères haïtiens nous là, mes livre là al supporter, al garder on Hulu, si nous pas gen Hulu, al na YouTube là. Al gade YouTube là, fait numéro yo monter parce que pour dans 4 ans, pour ces 572,000. Moi-même fait 572,001. OK? Qui garde film là dans 4 ans? That's crazy. Parce que les Beijing sorti avec au bagay, l'an 2 jours nous bal million. OK? Les moun yo a fait zin, qui j'en zin pété, oh, nous là-dedans. OK? Mais on zin qui fait péter là, al supporter livre là. OK? Al supporter livre là. Supporter livre là, support the documentary again. It's Crime and Punishment, the documentary. Go watch it. Watch it with your children. Watch it with your husband. Watch it. Just watch it. It will be beneficial. Wap apprendre un bagay là-dedans. Un bagay que wap apprendre là. C'est pas un bagay comme si on est apprendre ni et puis parce que nous tout apprendre, right? Nous avons un paquet de bagay qui dans tête nous que nous pas jamais servir avec lui. Because I don't know why sometimes, you know, I know the Pythagorean theorem of a fraction. I don't know why, right? Parce que pas servir avec. But ça, what you just learned about community ticket,
Self-enforcement.
Self-enforcement. Probably again, pilot bagay ke wap apren quotas. Quotas are illegal and they're unconstitutional. Okay, you didn't know that. These are things that you will learn in this book. And le Defoulew, yon ti Defoulew m'a fait là tout parce que le mwen vini et puis m'parle de yo, fòm di le a fait bagay ki bon tout. So, nou genyen, Rita Joseph ki gen yon activité k'ap fait là, le moment kounyen, mwen la fini à 6h, 4h, I'm not sure. Mais c'est soit la fini à 4h ou la fini à 6h. Mais par la ouvri gen célébration Juneteenth ka passe. And si nou pa konnen sa Juneteenth la pleye, ma ba nou a basic synopsis of what it is. In 1863, the President Abraham Lincoln signed an Emancipation of Proclamation to say that slavery was done. Qui veut dire que pas gen esclave encore, l'an 1863. In Texas, in Galveston, Texas, and Gallup Party too, yo pa jam di esclave yo, ouais, voilà. Yo pa jam di esclave yo, yo peut si pa gen esclave encore. Yo kite moun yo ap travay pour 2 ans. So it was on June 19, 1865, que gen plus que 500,000 esclaves qui tap travay for free, basically. Like, this country was built on free labor. They were working for free for 2 years. They didn't know they were free. So we celebrate today, Juneteenth. It's a national holiday that we celebrate every June 19th to celebrate the freedom of those slaves that finally realized that they were free. And right now, Councilwoman Rita Joseph, she is a friend of the show. She will be a friend of the show, but she has reached out. And she's hosting an event right now at Prospect Park. So go get manger free. It's a wellness. It's so you could go. I got a massage before I came, guys. I'm gonna tell you that's why I was late. That's why I was late. Really. I'm going to my bon bagay. Moi yo tout rale m'nan pa kwa gen chaise, yo mette yo chez la ça. Yo rale m'don ça c'est ça. Ou c'est la même oui. Après ma park là. Allez. Go. They have free food. You could talk to a psychologist because it's, you know, mental health. So it's like, you know, you could talk to a psychologist if you need. You could get physical wellness. Sure. And it's just, you know, affirmation and talking because we need that, right? So go. So shout outs to her for doing this, you know. And I'm gonna talk when they do things. I'm not fan of parce que le map sapote yo tout, moi toujours me fait nous connaître tout. So, les a fait ça qui bon tout, m'a fait nous connaître tout. So, allez, nous la communauté al manger, al faire massage. Allez, al parler avec ou psychologue. Al parler, al dire, al faire petit Defoulew en papa, dire que me voyez non. OK? M'a sent you. So, n'a prend un petit pause encore. And la retourner, m'a dit dernier mot ça me pour nous dire, la fini, n'a pas un petit peu, n'a retourner.
Excusez-moi, on y a quelques documents importants on t'a remettre traduit là. M'a marché longtemps, m'pas ka joindre aucun côté. Est-ce que vous pouvez aider s'il vous plaît?
Pas paniquer. Si span monte descend, allez dans l'adresse de Door Services qui est dans 1814 Nostran Avenue dans Ledo Haiti, dans la coupe Brooklyn.
Door Services? Vous voulez dire qu'il y a qu'à traduire documents pour moi?
Dans Door Services, yo spécialisé dans traduction tout type de documents, acte de décès, extrait d'archives, acte de mariage, acte de divorce, baptistère, acte de naissance, rivé dans relevé de notes. Dans n'importe langue yo yéya, dans n'importe state ou yéya, n'a traduit pour dans n'importe langue ou vléya.
Même si Haïti, Chili, Brésil, Californie?
Yes. Même sous Haïti, Chili, Brésil, Californie, Saint-Domingue, ou à email li, n'a fait pour, ensuite n'a mail li tourner ba ou. Et puis, n'a notarisé pour le capable servir dans n'importe pays où y est pour n'importe dossier légal.
So dim là, bon courriel dans Door Services pour me faire traduire tout document moi yo.
Ou pas besoin courir, ou capable voir document yo sur internet, al nan doorservices.com et puis cliquez sur ce bouton vert qui marqué Free Translation Code là ou bien relais dans 718 758 50 05 ou bien 50 06 pour plus d'informations.
Ou dim al nan doorservices.com et cliquez sur ce bouton vert là?
Oui, ce bouton vert qui marqué Free Translation Code là.
Merci en pile, oui.
Pour tout type de document dans n'importe langue, pas inquiéto. Allant dans doorservices.com ou soit relais-nous dans 718 758 50 05 ou bien 50 06. Pas oublier, al sous doorservices.com. Defoulew, c'est un talk show uniquement sur Dodo Vibe FM. Tout le monde a une histoire dans la vie au cap tout mentel. Qui ça pour la même?
Vin Defoulew. Personne pas juge. Petit tout arrivé ambassade, ADN n'a dit non, non, non. Petit pas beau.
Vin Defoulew. Foyer wap pran kou, relation vin grand kou.
Vin Defoulew. Ou senti chaque jour qui passe, bagay yo vin plus difficile.
Vin Defoulew.
Marie a trompé ou, madame a fait au show.
Hey. Vin Defoulew. Pasteur, kap Jack fidèle yo nan veille.
Vin Defoulew.
Pas quitter rien tout fait ou. Vin dénoncer tout ça qui pas faire plaisir dans relation. Dans amitié ou bien dans travail. Relez-nous. Boy ici là, c'est défouler n'a défouler nous. Vin la gueule. Pas faire stroke, pas faire que.
J'aime stressé là, ben mal défoulé dans Door Vibe. Yo émission côté ou capable parler de tout ça qui dans tête ou, tout ça qui a dominé. Si mesdames yo a boire au clos, vin la gueule. Messieurs yo a boire dandy, vin la gueule. Sans yo pas juger ou, vin la gueule. Vin bay parole. Vin défoulé ou sous Door Vibe FM.
Vin défoulé ou. La gueule.
DODORVIBE.com ou soit Door Vibe FM sur YouTube et Facebook.
Ça quoi gueule là?
Defoulew.
And we're back. Moshe, moi le arrivé sur nous. Like we were just talking, and I really this show is one of the best shows I believe I had, only because we get to know about you. I got a chance to present you to this platform because, again, like we said, you are a friend here at Dodo Vibes. You are welcome. This is the community media outlet where everyone is welcome as long as it's beneficial to the community and to uplift the community. And the work that you have done, that you're doing, and you're continuing to do is phenomenal, and it needs to be told. So once again, we're wrapping up, and I just want you to say your final words.
Yeah. So, I did the work. I just need the support. Watch the movie, regarde film là. Si nous avons acheté le livre là, parce que dans le livre là, même parler de la vie, moi, parler de l'histoire de Haïti, moi, parler de Samba Sena NYPD, me parle de ça nous pour nous faire, pour le système qui a vraiment changé. I cover many different subjects. It's a memoir. A lot of people, when they read the book, even some people that don't like to read, they're like, I couldn't put this book down.
Right.
And there's some folks, after reading the book, they're now reading books because they forgot or they really never knew that, how much they can enjoy a book.
How the book transports you.
Exactly. I take you through a journey. Understand that this is very risky for me, but as a Haitian, this is who we are. And it's not something I speak about a lot because, I don't need them to understand, But comme Haitien, we understand the spirit, we understand our fight, we understand who we are. You understand? So I need my community to support the movement. That's it.
And I want to say again, I have one question that I didn't ask. Manny Gomez, the PI.
Yeah.
He's a retired Army, decorated Army, I think sergeant, officer, everything, and he became the private investigator. That kind of was very he was a really strong part in getting all of this highlighted as well. I want to give a shout out to him. Shout out to you, Manny Gomez. I fell in love with you watching you in the documentary because of the work that you're doing. I pray for you and I pray, God, that you are still continuing these works and helping our people throughout all of these injustices. I'm sure you're going to get a lot of work now with what's going on with this whole situation, this immigration situation that's going on. We will get back to that next week with Defoulew. Again, I want to tell you guys again, nous connaissons nous-mêmes, nous sommes des patriotes, nous connaissons pas l'autre monde qui plus patriote parce que haïtien. OK? So, kounia to comme dire, nous remet ramasser l'autre monde dit que c'est haïtien n'a supporté. Nous prenons Usher, nous dit Usher Raymond. Usher dit nous n'est pas haïtien. Nous prenons Future, nous dit Future c'est haïtien. Future dit nous n'est pas haïtien. Maintenant nous gagnons Edwin Raymond qui là, lui c'est haïtien, la fait un travail, il besoin pour nous corriger le travail que la fait. Parce que, on connaît qu'il y a un pile de nous qui pas fait travail là. Nous plutôt aller avec système là, janvier, pour nous pas faire bruit, so you don't rock the boat. Mais là nous gagnons, que loi des salines dans monter, et il pas qu'à coucher, il pas qu'à dormir, faut qu'il fait travail là, faut nous corriger. OK? Et moi-même, c'est une map corel, dodo vibes d'elle, nap corredi, et moi-même, je voulais nous-mêmes pour nous corredi. Algad film Crime and Punishment, the documentary, and acheter livre là. Si nous avons des gens là, yo doit li livre là. OK? Et moi-même, nous connaissons, moi-même, le arrivé sur moi, je dis nous ça déjà, oui. Le arrivé sur moi là. This is another émission with Defoulew with Mahadya Mary, and Makweno à la prochaine. Goodbye, everyone.